Well, joining us today are two fine men who are studying actually for the priesthood at Pope St. John the 23rd National Seminary in Weston. Brian Delaney and Pat Bruen. Brian, great to see you.
Bishop,
thank you for being with us. And Pat,
thank you very much.
you guys are in fourth year.
Fourth year, yes.
Both preparing this year to be ordained to the priesthood.
That's correct.
Right? Unbelievable. And Pat, you are studying for the Archdiocese of Detroit.
That's right. Yeah.
And I know, Brian, you're a seminarian and will be a priest for the Archdiocese of Boston.
Yes.
Very much looking forward to that.
Thank you. I am too.
And Pope St. John the 23rd National Seminary is a very particular and special place. It's only 6.5 miles from here. But Brian, could you tell us what makes it so special?
Well, it is a very unique place. And what's special about it is that they do a very good job of the dynamic there, the catering towards a more senior vocation. From the academics to the formation, to the human formation, to the spiritual formation. It's just geared for a more senior seminarian. And I'll tell you, one of my biggest fears was being out of school for over 30 years and getting back into full-time academics.
I can only imagine.
Yes, yeah. But if I did it, anyone can do it. Yeah, it's a very good place.
And Pat, you did it as well. And you and all of the men studying at Pope St. John the 23rd Seminary have had other vocations, other careers. Could you tell us just briefly your story and how you discovered that you had actually a vocation to the priesthood?
Well, I was married for 40 years. I'm a widower. And I have 3 children, and I have 15 grandchildren. And I worked in the software business for many, many years. And I really, because I was married, I didn't consider it. But the process of going through losing my wife and just having the the church there, the priest there to help me through that process was one of the things that drew me closer to the faith. And one of my priest friends said to me, you know, there is a place where you could study to become a priest. And I thought, really? I'm 60 years old, 61 years old. How could that be? He said, yeah, there's a place. And long story short, it took about 1.5 years to discern, and I had an interview with John the 23rd, our rector, Father Kiley, and next thing you know, I was there. It seems like an unusual story, but at John the 23rd, it's a common story. A lot of men like me.
But each one of you are certainly unique. And Brian, we're very much looking forward to your ordination in May this year, 2025. But how did you end up in Weston?
Well, I too am a widower. I was married for 36 years. I have a daughter and a granddaughter. And, Bishop, I think over the years I've been very involved with the church. And the more I got involved in, the more I wanted to do. So I've always felt very home with the church. There's always been a special place in my heart for the church. And at some point in time over the years, I felt I was getting that tap on the shoulder. Shortly after my wife passed, through a course of events, I found myself at Pope St. John.
Were you surprised, like Pat was, to find that there was a seminary that really was dedicated to a second career?
I was. I actually was not aware of that until just a few months prior to things moving along. Yes, that's when I found out. And a really good thing is I found out the First Fridays. Pope St. John does First Fridays. And whether it's visiting the facility or whether it's via Zoom, I would recommend anyone, if anyone's interested or has that feeling that they're being called to the priesthood, to jump on with those First Fridays at Pope St. John the 23rd.
So maybe you could give a little preview even here right now. What's a typical day like at the seminary? It's been 40 years since I've been in, so I can remember, but not that well. I'm a little cloudy. What's it like? What do you do?
Well, we have classes, of course. Many of the classes are in the morning, so often we have the afternoon to study. They kind of mix it up a bit, so every day is not the same. And depending on what year you are, you have responsibilities in a parish or at a healthcare facility. The fourth year men, we spend our weekends at a parish because we've been ordained deacons, and so we have that. So then we have classes. We have some very good human formation programs. We have Mass every day. We have morning prayer. We have evening prayer. When I first got there, I told people who asked, well, it's kind of like being in the Army. Kind of. But just not as rigorous. You know, we have staff and faculty who are invested in helping us be successful. Yeah. And that really makes a difference.
You do have a great faculty, and a number of them celebrate Mass here on Catholic TV, for which we are always very grateful. So very quickly, Brian, if there was a guy who was listening right now who was in that kind of situation where they were feeling the call to the priesthood, but they're a bit older, what would you say to them?
I would say give us a call, and especially on the first Fridays, jump on board. But but talk to your parish priest. It's very important that they make that connection. If they're feeling that need, if they're getting that tap on the shoulder from the good Lord, talk to your parish priest. It starts there.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And if you're curious about Pope St. John, the 23rd National Seminary, just Google it and check it out. I know that Father Brian Colley, the rector, and the faculty would be very grateful that you find out the great work that's going on over there. And thanks, guys, so much for being with us here in the living room today and helping us to learn a little bit more about a unique seminary here in the United States.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.